Mr. Young, Mr. Patoka, Mr. Catch, Mr. Crandall, Mr. Ertel. Aye. Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye.
The
Motion is passed. Thank you. Legislative day number 6 will now come to order. Please pause for a moment of silent meditation. I will now call upon Councilmember Patoka, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of March 6, 2023? Is there a second to the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
The journal is approved. Bills 723, 823, 923 were passed by the council, signed by the executive, and are hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. First is Bill 14-23, Current Expense Budget Special Detail Reimbursement, and Bill 15-23, sponsored by Councilman Patoka, Zoning Regulations, Medical Clinic, and Medical Office Use in the Business Local Restricted Zone.
Thank you. We'll now move on to final reading and vote of bills. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
The first bill, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 10-23, sponsored by Councilman Jones, Zoning Regulations, Uses Permitted in the RC2 Zone, Catering Halls Converted from Dwellings.
Mr. Secretary, it's my understanding there's an amendment to Bill 1023. Please read the amendment.
Certainly. There is a red line that has been shared with the council, and this red line delineates the amendments to the bill that Mr. Jones is offering. The first component is that the catering halls converted from dwellings would be specifically for existing dwellings on a property, and the use would also be subject to section 402.3 of the zoning regulations. The second component to the amendment would be to add section 402.3 to the regulations. There is already a section 402 to the zoning regulations. This is titled Conversion of Dwellings, and this would add a 402.3 to that section for catering hall use. And this amendment would incorporate a number of limitations and conditions on the catering hall use. It defines what an event would be, and then for a catering hall converted to such use from a dwelling in the RC2 zone and within the Hanover Pike Corridor Study area, which is what the parameters of the bill already are, it would have a number of restrictions and conditions. There would be a restriction on the number of events, the number of guests, the applicable noise limits set forth in COMAR for commercial uses, that solid waste and sewerage be removed from the property at the conclusion of the event, that there's also a limitation on the use. If there is a catering hall use, the amendment would also limit another property with an existing catering hall or an application for a catering hall. There would also be limits on the event timing, such as Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays only, and the times that the catering event could take place. There would also be restrictions on parking, lighting, as well as restrictions on the service of alcoholic beverages. It would not be regulating alcoholic beverages per se, because that is what the alcoholic beverages article of the code does, but it would just place sort of time, place, manner restrictions during an event. So that is really the sum and substance of the amendments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the amendment to Bill 1023?
Mr. Chair,
Oh, yes. Councilman
uh,
Jones.
before we get into voting, if you don't mind, let me
Sure.
just give a little background on the bill as it stands today. First of all, I want to thank Councilman Catch. This was his district prior to redistricting, and I know he's worked on this issue for some time. I inherited the issue when I inherited the area. At that time, I picked up where Councilman Catch left off. I met with all the parties to get up to speed on the issue. I then had a town hall meeting where I invited everyone in the community to come out and discuss the issue at hand. At the conclusion of that meeting, after a lot of discussion, no one present objected to moving forward. And I had that by a show of hands. The petitioners then went and came back at my request with over 100 signatures from members in the community and a map showing me specifically where folks live in proximity to this property, all in agreement to moving forward. And then I met again with the community association representing the area, the Hanover Road Association, and then then they got together again with the owner of the property, where we came up with all of these uh, uh, restrictions, if you will, to make everybody feel comfortable that this sort of thing would not get out of hand. Having spoke with other communities, they were very concerned that this would not go throughout Baltimore County, and they wanted it defined as narrowly as they could. We had a work session. I think it was like 9 or 10 people that voted in favor of it, or testified in favor of the if you want to call it, I call it a wedding venue, but a catering hall. And then we had 2 people who showed some concern, and they were undecided. They were not against. I think we had one person from another area that was against it. The folks that came in that had some concerns, they rose a couple of issues that, to be quite frank, were not thought of before. And we again tried to make some amendments so that they can feel very comfortable moving forward. So that's where we are today. Basically, all of the amendments has been driven by the community and to satisfy the community. So that's where we are. And thank you for giving me the time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councilman Jones. Is there any other discussion on the amendment? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the amendment to Bill 1023?
I'll move it.
Okay, motion by Councilman Jones. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Young. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment to Bill 1023.
Mr. Young, Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye. The amendment passes. Is there any discussion on Bill 1023 as amended?
Were there 2 amendments or was there 1 amendment? Was there 1 amendment?
There's just one amendment.
There was just the one. Got it. Okay.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve Bill 1023 as amended?
I'll move it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, may I have a moment?
Yes, Mr. Benjamin. Sure.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Padoka.
Has any council member asked for a delay?
No.
Then I think we should move forward.
We need a second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Young.
Do you want me to call the roll?
Please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Young, Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Catch.
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye. Okay. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Well, wait a minute, we haven't voted on the bill.
We just did.
Oh, I need to change my vote to no.
Okay,
I thought we were voting on the motion that the delegate, the councilman from the second district made.
no, there was a motion on the floor
But
to,
then there was another motion.
no, that there was one motion to move the bill as amended, and then there was no second, and then there was a second, and then there was a vote.
And then there was, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Councilman Cash, it was Councilman Patoka asking a question.
Oh, is that all it was? Because I thought I heard somebody second it, but no, if you would please record me in the negative.
Yes, sir, on the bill as amended.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So the bill is passed by a vote of 6-1 as amended.
Okay.
Next bill, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 11-23. This bill is sponsored by Councilman Marks, Zoning Regulations, Honey Go Overlay District.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to motion to extend Bill 1123 to the April 3rd meeting. This will give additional time for the administration and the community organizations and my office to work on the content of the bill.
I'll second it.
Okay? So I motioned, Councilman Ertel seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the motion to extend Bill 1123.
Yes, sir. Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Young, Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes. Bill 1123 is extended to the April 3rd meeting. Council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on March 15, 2023. The witnesses who testified at the work session is available to restate their testimony if needed. I will now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 1 through 4 and 6 through 9. Fiscal matter 5 was withdrawn prior to the meeting. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Okay.
I'll read the
Yes,
fiscal
please.
matter, sir. Fiscal matter 1 is a contract with Facility Support Incorporated doing business as FSI Engineers. Fiscal matter 2 is a contract with Coastal Resources Incorporated. Fiscal matter 3 is a contract with Gaudenzia Incorporated. Fiscal matter 4 is a contract of sale with John and Grace Schneider for 6727 Windsor Mill Road. Fiscal matter 6 is a contract of sale with Roy and Alice Burrow, 6746 Windsor Mill Road. Fiscal matter 7 is a contract with Tito Contractors Incorporated. Fiscal matter 8 is a contract with Team Service Corporation of New York. And fiscal matter 9 is a contract with Pure Technologies US Incorporated, doing business as Wax Water Services Emergency Services.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve fiscal matters 1 through 4 and 6 through 9?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 4 and 6 through 9.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch.
Aye.
Fiscal matters 1 through 4 and 6 through 9 are approved. We will now consider miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than formal competitive bid, it is required that a copy of the contract be given to the county council and the nature and parties to the contract be announced by the secretary at the next legislative session following award of the contract. There are 4 such contracts this evening that I will now announce. The first is a purchase order with CourtSmart Digital Systems Incorporated This is for the maintenance and technical support of the digital audio and video recording hardware and software that is utilized by the court. The recording system is proprietary, and as a result, maintenance and support can only be purchased through CourtSmart Digital Systems. The amount of $137,095.68. Next is a purchase order with JWC Environmental Incorporated. This is for the purchase of a replacement Monster Renew influent grinder for the Long Corridor Sewage Pumping Station, which is used to shred large debris before it reaches the wet well and sewer pump. Award amount of $46,846.10. Next is an agreement with Autodesk Incorporated. Estimated award total of $52,500. And finally, a agreement with Aquatic Informatics Incorporated. This is a supplier contract that provides Public Works and Transportation to renew its annual maintenance and service agreement for 5 years with Aquatic Informatics Incorporated. They are the sole proprietor to sell this software and service agreement. Estimated award of $50,000.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, the next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is the council's consideration of the county executive's nomination for appointment of Ms. Amanda Serafini to the Baltimore County Animal Hearing Board.
Thank you. And I understand we have Ms. Serafini remotely.
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone.
Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Serafini. Do you wish to say anything tonight, or
No,
do you have anyone with you?
I'm sorry.
Do you have anyone with you, family members, supporters? We always ask that of our appointees.
Sure. My husband is actually downstairs with my son, who is sick today, which is why I couldn't make it in person. So I'm sure they can hear from down there, but he has to step in for my son to cling to for the next hour or so I can have a little bit of a break. But they are all in support.
Oh, good.
Excellent. Very good. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Okay, is there a motion to approve the appointment?
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the appointment.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Thank you. The appointment is confirmed. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's good, Stan.
Mr. Secretary, the next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is the council's consideration of the nomination of the county executive of Ms. Renee Strebe to the Baltimore County Police Accountability Board.
Thank you very much. Is Ms. Strebe?
Yep.
Online, okay.
I am.
Mr. Hunt?
Hello.
Yes. Welcome. I do want to thank Ms. Strebe for stepping up to the plate. She's a resident of the 5th District, former president of the Perry Hall Women's Club, extremely involved in the community. She will be a very fair, impartial, well-qualified member of this board. Ms. Strebe, would you like to say anything?
It's a pleasure to be back, and I really appreciate the honor of being able to serve on the PAB.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know you're in Florida, Ms. Strebe. Anyone down there with you, cheering you on?
My son and my husband.
Excellent. Well, thank you for stepping up to the plate, and should you be confirmed, good luck in your service.
Thank you very much, Councilman Marks.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Okay, is there a motion to approve the appointment?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the appointment.
Yes, sir. Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. The appointment is confirmed. Congratulations.
Thank you all very much.
And want to thank the county executive staff for all their work shepherding both these appointments through. Mr. Secretary, the next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 3-23, This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Young and is a resolution to approve the property tax exemption or partial exemption to Mr. Tyrone A. Washington, who as a blind person is entitled to a partial exemption as a matter of state law.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 323?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Ertel. There's second.
I didn't steal your
I second it. Yeah.
Seconded by Councilman Catch. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 323.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch.
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution 323 is passed. Mr. Secretary, the next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 4-24. This is sponsored by Council Members Patoka and Ertel and is a resolution to approve the adoption of the Ruxton Riderwood Lake Roland Area Plan for introduction only this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, is there any further business to come before the council?
There is no further business, Mr. Chairman.
Is there?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just really briefly, I want to thank the members on the police department that are part of our dignitary protection unit. Don't worry, guys, I'm not giving any names or anything away. I don't want to give out your coordinates, but I think the whole council and our staffs appreciate what you do for us and just wanted to acknowledge you. You're sort of our silent partners in making us safe. So it's great to see you back in action and here in Chambers, because you couldn't come to our houses when we were doing it virtually. So, but I know you would. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilman Patoka. Yes, absolutely. I think all of us feel the same way. Thank you for your service. Councilman Patoka.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I want to piggyback on Councilman Crandall's remarks. So thank you, the officers that are here. But also, believe it or not, over the past years that I've been on council, there have been threats that we've all, to the entire council and to individual members. And the police department has always been extremely thorough in vetting those threats and assessing which are viable. I can remember my wife was gardening once. There was a threat on the entire council, and my wife was out gardening. And she was approached, and she was in gardening clothes, not in dress work clothes. And she was vetted thoroughly. And and the police were doing their job and really appreciate it, because we are in the public, and it's true. They checked every vehicle in their driveway and made sure it was duly tagged. And it's appreciated that the police department takes care of its elected officials and makes sure that we're safe. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else? Okay. There's no further business. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Meeting is adjourned. As is customary, anyone who's registered to speak online prior to the meeting is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Ms. Belcastro, are there any speakers signed up this evening?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Our first speaker this evening is Jesse Jaeger, and they are here in person.
Great, thank you. Ms. Jaeger, please come forward.
Virtual. Oh, here, I'm sorry. I forgot to get-
Welcome, Ms. Jaeger.
Back. My name is Jessie Yeager. I've been here before, as well as speaking up at the Budget Town Hall on March 1st. I'm here again to implore you to take action. I represent Hampton Elementary as both a parent and an educator, and we are currently at 121% capacity. For years, I have been bringing up the problem of school overcrowding with both BCPS and Baltimore County government. Yet both entities seem to think the problem lies with the other. Whatever your reasons may be, it is time for change. A search for a new superintendent is currently underway, and this is a perfect time for the county and the school system to learn how to work together. At the budget hearing, it was mentioned that public school enrollment is down. I am sure that in some areas of this massive county that they may be, but here in the Central District, our enrollment numbers are soaring. This crisis cannot be addressed fast enough. A major contributor to this problem is unchecked development in the area. Each developer claims almost no school kids will live where they build, and the county believes them. Every new development's projections are wrong, and we have been pointing that out for years to no avail. The county utilized the APFO task force in 2020 to discuss these problems, and nothing has come of any of their observations or recommendations. The county executive wants to increase early childhood education and expand our preschool threes and make pre-K universal. I love this plan, but where will they go? The threes program at Hampton will be moved to Jacksonville next year because Hampton is well past capacity. We will be sending our third graders into trailers and squeezing too many kids into each classroom. We need you to act now. Work with BCPS to encourage them to run an emergency boundary study to relieve Hampton Elementary. Work with BCPS to find a new superintendent who will be willing to work alongside county government and take action to start to make the massive changes that are needed to bring our school system out of a downward spiral and back into the light. No school should be forced to operate at 121% capacity with no solution in sight. Pleasant Plains didn't deserve it in the past, and Hampton Elementary doesn't deserve it now. At the risk of cliche, these kids are our future. But if they don't get the safe and excellent education they need and deserve, our future is looking pretty bleak. But it doesn't have to. Change is always possible if we take the steps to recognize our society is only as strong as our educational system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anyone wish to comment?
Ms. Shager, question. You had given a number, I think, the last time you were here, and how many students are currently enrolled, and what's the capacity number that we should be at? Or
Our capacity is 670 and we have 814. We had an addition in 2013 that doubled our size, but it never touched our cafeteria, our gym, or our bathrooms or anything. So all of that is still for a rated capacity of about 370. So our gym can only fit about a third of our students. So when we have assemblies, we have to do them in waves that take the entire day. Most of the times usually our kindergarten don't get to enjoy the assemblies because we just can't fit all the students. We're getting 4 trailers next year, which frankly, in my honest opinion, I don't think is enough for all the kids that we're going to have next year. Considering how many kids come in and how far under projected it always is, we'll probably be at about 900 if nothing happens next year.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, lunch is a problem as well, because when you don't expand cafeterias and then you overcrowd, you're starting lunch at some ridiculous, I don't know what time you start, but.
Right now we start at, I think 11:15, and then our 5th graders is the last lunch wave, and they have lunch at 1:15. So our lunch starts from 11:15 and goes to 1:45. But yeah, our 2nd graders come in at 12:45, which is pretty late for a 7-year-old. We do give out breakfast, but that's also a problem because we have so many kids. They're not even coming into class till like almost 9:45 in the morning when they get off the buses that take forever to get them to school, and then they have to wait in the line to get their breakfast in the morning. I mean, transportation is awful. Our buses are overcrowded. We have kids 3 to a seat with big winter coats and backpacks, and they come in already agitated from sitting on the bus for an hour.
Yeah.
We do have our Central Area Education Advisory Council has a meeting this Wednesday at Hampton. So I brought flyers. I can pass them out. We would love to have people come ask questions, listen to responses and things like that.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Cash.
When this issue was before the school board, I worked with the people that had concerns about this redistricting. And in fact, I did provide a couple of alternative plans that would have resulted in Hampton not being 121% over capacity. When I looked at the numbers that the company, which was hired to make the recommendations, one of the things I noticed was that the Avalon apartments that are in Towson, I think they were Councilman Mark's district, I think it was 300 and some apartments were only, the projection was that apartment complex would produce 45 students, elementary, middle, and high school, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous, way too low. And so I think there's a lot of changes and reforms that need to be made in our school system. This particular issue is a problem for me because I represented in the state legislature, worked hard to get the addition to Hampton Elementary, and then to turn around and have the school overcrowded just after a new addition was built is a real problem. And as it was mentioned, sometimes when additions are made to schools, they do not enlarge the cafeteria or the physical ed facility. In fact, I don't know what the situation is at Catonsville Middle School, but I do know that when that elementary school was converted to a middle school, they put additions on it, but did not enlarge the cafeteria or the gym. But I think they have enlarged the cafeteria. Is that true? Yeah, I think they have, haven't they? Are you talking about are you talking about the one on, you're thinking of the elementary, the new old elementary school. Okay. But I'm talking about, I think it's still, okay. And it's a problem. I had nephews go to that school and it was an issue at the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from any of the members? Thank you, Ms. Shager. Can you give those flyers to Mr. Boswick?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilman Jones.
yeah, I guess wanted to thank the speaker for her advocacy on the issue. We certainly appreciate her taking the time to keep this issue in the forefront. And, you know, there's no question about it. It's one of the most important things we do, which is to provide a very good education or the best education we can to the students. And they should be able to do that without being in an overcrowded classroom or an overcrowded school. So I'm going to thank the speaker for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Jones. Okay, our next speaker, and I apologize if I messed up the last name, is Laura Holaris. Ms. Holaris?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
they signed up to speak virtually, but unfortunately, they have not been on the meeting at all this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so Ms. Belcastro, there's no other additional speakers this meeting. Okay, thank you. Before we close tonight's meeting, we will now take this opportunity to recognize one of our longtime employees, Deputy County Attorney Gregory E. Gaskins, who's with us here tonight representing the Office of Law. Mr. Gaskins is retiring from the county at the end of the month after over 28 years of distinguished service. Mr. Benjamin, would you like to say anything about Mr. Gaskins?
Certainly. Thank you very much, Councilman. I want to thank Mr. Gaskins for his excellent work and for his service to the county. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work with him. I can remember when I first met him not long after I was appointed in this role. We went to lunch, and he told me a whole lot about the county, and it's been a true pleasure working with you. You will be missed.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Patoka.
I'd just like to congratulate Mr. Gaskins, and I'm going to share some information about Mr. Gaskins that many people may not know, or maybe. So I met Mr. Gaskins a long time ago. I was a planner. I was a young planner, yes. And Mr. Gaskins was a young attorney in the city solicitor's office, the state's attorney's office. And we would battle on the softball field. And Mr. Gaskins was quite a good athlete and quite a good softball player. So, and you look like you still are. You're trim and in shape. And he was a fine attorney then and a fine attorney now. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Patoka.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. if I
Yes,
may.
Councilman Crandall.
Mr. Gaskins, thank you for your many years of service, for stepping in the council chambers on occasion, always thorough. And you're leaving just before the budget. You got approval for that? I know you're integral to the process. So we will miss you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilman Jones.
No, I would like to just take an opportunity to thank Mr. Gaskins for his service to the county, particularly the law department. He has done a fantastic job. His presence has been noted throughout the years on many lawsuits and issues before the county, and he's done an exemplary job. And we certainly are going to miss him and wish him well in his future endeavors. Hopefully he'll get an opportunity to relax and not worry about all the issues of Baltimore County, because they're in great hands with the rest of our legal folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Any other members wish to speak? Thank you, Mr. Gaskins. You've always been a true professional. I've served with you longer than anyone else here, and really appreciate all the sound advice you've given us over the years. Thank you. Mr. Boswick, I understand you have a resolution to present. Why don't we do this? Why don't we adjourn the meeting? Unless you want, would you like to say something, Mr. Boswick?
Sorry. The only thing I would like to say is I've known Greg for over 20 years. I had the pleasure of serving with him in the Office of Law. And it was, he's a fine attorney, a true gentleman, one of the best colleagues I could have ever worked with. We used to have some great conversations about, the pressing issues of the day, the Ravens, the Orioles, the Terps. It was really heady stuff. And, but I'm gonna miss those conversations every now and then, but I'm sure you will be around. So thank you. And I could read this if you like.
Please.
Okay. This is a special resolution of the Baltimore County Council honoring Gregory E. Gaskins on the occasion of his retirement from Baltimore County government as Deputy County Attorney. Whereas Gregory Gaskins graduated from Howard University in 1980 and the Howard University School of Law in 1983, and spent the early part of his career from 1984 to 91 as an assistant state's attorney in Baltimore City, prosecuting felony criminal cases. And whereas after several years in private practice, Greg began his career with county government in 1995 as an assistant county attorney in the Office of Law, handling complex civil litigation matters and achieving supervisory roles in the litigation department. And whereas in 2010, he was promoted to the leadership position of deputy county attorney, where he supervised and oversaw administrative matters in the office, as well as all litigation matters. And whereas over the years, in addition to his great work in the Office of Law, Greg was always a regular lunchtime attendee at the Towson and then Bally's fitness centers, where his coworkers only half-kiddingly believed his rigorous training regimen was preparing him for a tryout at defensive back for the Ravens, a position where they certainly needed help in the early years. with such legends, and you'll appreciate this, Greg, as Antonio Langham, Isaac Booth, and Duron Toast Jenkins. And whereas after over 28 years with county government providing distinguished and outstanding legal representation to the county, Greg is now retiring and will hopefully get to do more of what he wants to do, being active in his church and in his community, attending the NFL scouting combine, analyzing Ravens game film, and preparing for the NFL draft. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the members of the County Council that we join with everyone gathered this Monday, March 20th, 2023, in wishing this great friend and colleague a very happy retirement and continued good health and prosperity as he moves on to the next adventure. Signed, all 7 council members.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for your outstanding service to the people of Baltimore County. Do you want to get a picture after the meeting's concluded? Absolutely. Okay. Well, very good. I believe that concludes tonight's meeting. Safe travels, everyone, and see you in 2 weeks.